Welcome to the Finance Committee meeting posted. Agenda will be followed for the June 12th meeting. Before we start the meeting, we're a couple minutes behind schedule because we had Chris Moran come in. And I want it on record. We're having a passing of icons. One is Jack Tenaro, who for health reasons had to step off the Finance Committee. Jack was one of the first people with Bobby to help me get situated in the Finance Committee. That was 20-some years ago, scary as it seems. He carried the heavy water for a long time. It's hard to think of Jack not on this committee because he's always been on this committee. What he's taught us will always be part of this committee. And Chris Moran. We hope that the health reasons turn because he stepped up many a time, carried the heavy water, took on issues that nobody else wanted to talk about. And I'm not going to say goodbye. I'm going to say au revoir because when you get healthy, we want you back. I'm sorry. Okay. Item number 1, review of previous minutes, I believe May 1st. Anybody have questions on the May 1st meeting minutes?
Motion to accept.
Second.
Michael and Lauren, all in favor? Oh, wait a minute. Chucky's here. Roll call, Chucky.
Here.
Yes.
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 Yep.
Yes. Unanimous. I didn't see Chucky log in. Okay, we have the option of sending our comments about appointments. Right now, we have 3 openings on the Finance Committee. We have a number of people who have put their name into a talent bank that have been forwarded to us. I would like to send the Select Board through our minutes our recommendations of any people that we expect would do a good job and that we support. Andy, you want to take the first one?
Sure. So Ashley Douglas, who is my niece, shocked me when she said that she'd be willing to join the Finance Committee. Ashley is 33, 10 years out of college. She works in interior design, flooring, and the like. She's got 10 years of small business experience. She understands budgeting, understands how to run business, and she's very bright. And I think for a variety of reasons, she'd be a good addition to the group. So I have suggested her name to the Select Board. I introduced her to the Select Board members at town meeting.
Any questions?
Can we vote on that?
I'm going to ask that anybody who feels they should support Ms. Douglas, I've already gone on record as saying I support her. One, she's very intelligent. She seems to have the right attitude. And let's face it, and I apologize for seeming sexist, but we could use more women on the committee. And use people, unlike myself, who are less than 90 years old, to bring a different perspective. So, how many people feel comfortable to recommend her to the Select Board? Raise your hand.
Here's a point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
Do we plan to do this with every candidate that has a motion or
I
a
would like
application
to.
on file with the Board of
No.
Selectmen?
I have 2 talent bank applications.
Okay,
So I would like to go through the 2 of them.
fine. If we're going to give everyone the same
Yes, we
level playing
should.
field, I'm
Now,
I'm
as
good
we
with
go
that.
forward, there's still an opening.
Okay.
And one of the things that came out was apparently a discussion about shrinking the Finance Committee, which I have no big issue with. But the thing I asked one of the Select Board members is not to hold up appointments until they shrink the committee. Because it's hard enough to get 8 of us out of
That's right,
15.
that's right.
I'm worried that if they shrink the committee by 3,
And the budgets become more complex, and
getting 8 out of 11
this
is going to
requires
be tough.
more discussion, but
So
proceed.
I don't know how to do a roll call without putting people on the spot. But if I look and say, those who would like to recommend Ms. Douglas, please raise your hand.
Well, what you can say is, does anybody have any
Does anybody have objections?
Yeah, objections, yeah, then,
Seeing no objections and everybody's hand raised, we'll recommend that, well, we'll give a favorable recommendation to the
Right.
select board.
Just for my future edification, Al, I mean, is this the way we have customarily done this and the way we will? Because there have been a couple of times in the past where people have just kind of showed up.
In the past, the FinCom would fill its own vacancies in the interim. So if somebody like Chris resigned before his term was up, we would vote who we want in till the term ran out. One of the select board legitimately said, if I'm going to be held accountable for the quality of people on the FinCom, I want to be able to vote on everybody. So it stopped being asked of the FinCom.
But I'm thinking like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, we had a fellow here, I think his name was Peter Wish.
Yes,
He just kind of showed up.
he was appointed by the select board.
Appointments are through the Board of Selectmen.
But we didn't go through this process.
No, we didn't.
with him,
Because
so I'm
the
just trying to-
chair of the select board, so Paul tried to change the policy where he wanted input from the chairs of other committees.
Paul
That's the,
Mazzucchelli
that's the change.
That's a relative.
Paul Mazzucchelli said that he would like to hear from us.
Okay, that's the piece I
So
didn't
I'm
know about.
taking it up. It's not binding. I mean, they don't have to listen to us at all as to who they appoint.
Right.
It's their vote.
Mr. Chairman, did I hear you say there's 3 applicants for the 3 spots? There's 2 applicants and 3 spots? Okay.
3 spots.
Okay.
So the first one is Ms. Douglas, that we're going to recommend favorable. The second one is John Crean. You want to talk about John?
Well, I don't have his talent bank application in front of me, so I can't go through his professional background, but I can say that I worked with him very closely on the Democratic Town Committee. He's very active in multiple things, Celebrate Milford. He whipped the Vernon Trust finances into shape, did a beautiful job with them. So, yeah, I mean, I generally speaking, I would rather see people of color and women, but considering the fact that there's 2 applicants and 3 spots, I highly recommend John Crean.
He's done a good job on cemetery. He seems to work well with the different departments,
Oh, marketing background.
marketing background.
Is he still on the cemetery?
No.
I don't think so. I think he stepped off. Any other questions or anybody who would recommend, please raise your hand. Anybody against? Unanimous. Quick note, the executive committee that we will elect next and the officers are charged with doing business during the summer. So after tonight's meeting, we will not have a scheduled meeting of the full committee until the second Wednesday of September. In the interim, like on July 10th, anybody who's interested is more than welcome to come, because we have the cleanup that we have every year to make sure that the budget is balanced and all the departments have balanced budgets. We need a motion to empower the executive committee to act on our behalf until the September meeting.
I can make a motion that the executive committee act on the full committee's behalf until the September meeting is convened.
Second?
Lauren second, Mike made the motion, Lauren second. Any discussion? Roll call. Chucky?
Yes.
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 Yep.
Yes.
Unanimous. One other person that we should talk about tonight is the new recording secretary. Diana has finally, after many, many years of service, decided
She's had enough.
She said she couldn't take Bobby anymore. Oh, I didn't say that. So you want to talk about the process you're going through to replace her?
We are soliciting resumes. We've gotten a fair amount already. My suggestion will be that when we convene with the executive committee in July or sometime around that time, we'll pick a selection of those individuals to interview, and we'll have somebody hopefully ready to step in when September comes.
I've been amazed at people applying from Boston,
It's
from
very
Worcester.
strange, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes,
Really?
we've had about
They want my
18 people apply.
I'm surprised myself, Al.
I'm telling you, Bobby, Worcester, Auburn, all over. And I'm a little hesitant, Woonsocket, to have anybody that's an hour or so away.
I know,
So I think of the winter and snow and
Some of the meetings were after 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
so we'll take a look at everything from their background, their experience. Paul?
Was this advertised somewhere?
Kristen posted it. It's on Indeed. I'm not exactly sure why it's not on the Town of Milford post site. I asked.
There is some certain things that we have to do in order for it to legally be posted, so.
That's why we went through
We
HR,
went through Kristen, yeah.
figuring that to be safe, we'll turn over the whole process of soliciting resumes and all to HR, assuming she's most qualified to make sure we cross the Ts and dot the Is.
So are we looking for, there's two types of positions. There's a minutes recorder, but there's also a clerical position, which Diane's position is actually not just the minutes recorder. So
Right.
there's a little bit of other parts of the job involved in that.
There is going to be setting up the meetings, posting the meetings. When we're going to have Zoom access, somebody's going to make sure that we have the Zoom posted and actually set it up.
Yeah, they're going to be implementing the
It's going to be
Zoom.
more than a minutes recorder.
Yes.
Yes.
It's Diana's position expanded a little.
I used to do that. Post the meetings and come down here and post them.
Right.
TV.
And now we're adding to that the running of the Zoom. Chris is smiling. Any questions? So July 10th, we'll go through. By then, we probably have over 20 applicants. And I'm not sure, because there was a couple that seemed like they thought it was a full-time position.
You have to see what the job description that she posted was.
Yeah.
Any questions? Okay. At this point, normally we suspend the meeting and turn it over from the chair to the chair of the nominations committee. Unfortunately, he resigned. So I'm going to ask, we have 5 positions
Chairman?
available.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, Chuck, I don't remember if I did attend the May 1st meeting, so I'm going to have to abstain on the minutes.
Okay. Diana will make that note.
Thank you.
So there's 5 positions. Unless there's an objection, I will ask for volunteers or candidates to identify themselves for each position. We will then vote on each position. For the role of chair, we have a volunteer.
Volunteer?
It's tribute.
I will volunteer.
So we have one name, Andy Lizotte, to be the chair for the upcoming year. Would anybody else like to be considered? For the role of vice chair,
I'd like to nominate Al Carrera for the position of vice chair as a formality.
does anybody else want to put their name in for vice chair? We have 3 spots open for exec
Want
committee.
to take a vote on that, Al, before we...
I was going to do them all, but
Okay.
you're probably right. Let's have a motion to nominate Andy Lazat by me.
Yeah. Second by me.
Bobby seconded it. Roll call. Chucky?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Okay, unanimous. Need a motion to recommend Andy Lazat? No, I mean Al Correa for vice chair.
I think
I think he made the
just did.
motion.
I'll second
Okay, I
Bobby.
can
I'll second Bobby.
We need a second. Okay, we got a second.
Me.
Harley. Chucky?
Yes.
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 Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we need three on the executive committee. Who would, Mike Nicholson, number one?
I would nominate Carly.
Carly, you accept?
Sure.
Number two? Lauren?
Sure.
Number three. Anybody else want? Lauren. Anybody else want to be considered for the exec committee? Okay. Motion for those three people to be nominated on the executive committee. Chucky?
Yes.
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 So now I'll vote. I'll ask for a motion to accept the slate of 5 people that we've nominated as a single unit. Any objections? Could I have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Bobby moved, second. Mike Nicholson. Chucky?
Yes.
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 I'm done.
What was your motion?
I thought it took over June 30th.
Is it June 30th?
Can I see that? So what have we got left? Invitation to speak? Nothing.
And normally we would have items for the next meeting, but I would say that's kind of not appropriate to plan 3-4 months in advance.
Yeah. Now, I see the next item is subcommittee reports. Now, as we started to do at the tail end of this year, and what we should plan in the future is, if people want to talk about anything that is prospective as to any particular department, we should put it on the agenda for the following meeting, because as you recall, we had a couple of people making noise about open meeting violation when we just sort of randomly spoke about topics. So if you want to just report on a prior meeting or something to that effect, that's fine. If you want to put something on perspective, then tell me in advance, we'll set it for the next meeting, which is the reason why the EMT ambulance is here, because about 2 months ago, Mike, you asked me if I could give a report on that, and I said, can't do it. So now it's here, so now I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes on that update. So as far as the EMT, and this is really more of just sort of information and education at the moment as opposed to an action item, but we just wanted to get it on the agenda. Apparently about 40, 50 years ago, fire departments were primarily providing fire services. And then as fire prevention got better, they sort of migrated into performing this medical and rescue. And now the tail is sort of, swallowed the dog, where 80 to 90% of the calls from the fire department are actually medical calls and not fire calls. And so I had raised an issue about, whether we should be looking at charging for these services. I went through that whole discussion in the last meeting a few months back. I had a discussion with Brian Murray. Brian had concerns about whether you can legally do it, whether it's a tax or a fee. I don't think there's an appetite for that at the moment, but when we're having 4,000 calls a year and it's putting pressure on the fire department, I think it is something that we need to keep an eye on, particularly, whoever's on the Public Safety Committee. So that's the EMT. Now, the ambulance, I looked at 2 reports. There was a 1998 or 99 report, I think, that Paul referenced. That was about 30 pages, which I read. Now, this only dealt with what's called basic life support as opposed to advanced life support. And the conclusion on that report was, it says the delivery of basic life support transport by the Milford Fire Department is both medically sound and financially responsible and should be implemented at its earliest opportunity. So I saw that and I said, oh, that sounds interesting. Then I was provided with an Attorney General report over the past year called Examination of Healthcare Cost Trends. If anybody wants copies of these, I can provide it. This one's a little bit longer. It's about 50 or 60 pages. But there's some interesting information in here that Medicare apparently only covers about half of the cost of ambulatory transport. And Medicaid covers even less. Many towns have town-run ambulatory services, but they do not contract with private health plans. And the reason they do that is because the rates that would be provided by the private health plans is not enough to offset the losses that they're incurring from the public pay. And apparently, even if they were to go to what's called the out-of-network, those of you who might be familiar with healthcare issues, out-of-network is generally higher charges, higher deductibles, but even with the out-of-network, they still have trouble covering the public pay because the towns want to have the right to what's called balance bill, which is a term in the industry to basically pick up all of the costs that they want. So given what I would anticipate that Milford has a higher than average public pay if it were in the business of delivering ambulatory services, my preliminary conclusion after reading these two reports that if it's not a red light, it's certainly a yellow light right now, and I don't really consider this a top priority. If anybody wants to discuss this with me or look at any of these reports in the future, I'm happy to discuss it. But because Mike asked, I wanted to make sure everybody get the benefit of what I learned over that time. Okay. So that's that. Finance Director.
Mr. Chairman, Subcommittee.
I'm sorry.
Capital.
Subcommittee, well, it's not?
No, it's Subcommittee reports.
I understand, but nothing forward-thinking.
Nope.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, kind of. We met with the school department today to go over their capital plan for the next 2 to 3 years. Good news was there was no surprises. Everything we talked about prior was on there. We did tell them that because of the financial situation we're in, we can't really accept anything. We can accept it, we can't approve it to go to the full FinCom. And the same with fire department. That was an eye-opener for the new toys for the fire department. What we were thinking was $800,000 or $700,000 for a pumper, is now $975,000. So it's substantial. The chief understood that until we know our free cash situation, because that one pumper truck takes $1 million out of the $1.7 million we have for the whole town. So it was a good discussion. Yesterday, as research only, no decisions, no commitments, we met with the chairman and I met with the 9/11 Monument Committee.
Yeah, I think that's what they call themselves. Yeah.
There's a group in Milford that's been working for years to bring a plan together to add a monument honoring Milford's 911 contributors. Again, it was surprising because their estimates were about $200,000. And nobody told this poor group of people that they should come looking for a budget ahead of time. So we told them that we'll let the FinCom know that we met, no commitment at all, because we told them we don't know if we have the money. It's all going to be hinged this year on free cash and how well we do. But I will be sending you all the background information. Again, it has not been discussed at a full committee because of an open meeting law. We could not discuss it tonight since we only learned about it last night. But I want you all to know that it's there. There's no discussion to be had till maybe the September meeting. If the free cash looks good, there may be an option to help them out. If not, we told them you may have to wait a year. That's it. No discussion can be held since it was not posted.
Can I ask a question now? How many people are on this committee? I didn't even know we had one in town.
I want to say half a dozen.
Was it commissioned by the selectmen?
I don't know. Once
Okay, all right, if you don't know, you don't know, it's all right, okay.
all the information
I'm
of
learning.
who's on the committee and what their roles are and all, and the quotes or bids, pre-bid bids are all good. As soon as I get a chance, probably tomorrow, I will scan them and send them to everybody.
Well, sounds like a good agenda item for September.
Yeah, Mike Walsh was there. The sense I got was that Joanne Morgan was the chair of that committee, and I made this disclosure last night, and I'll make it again tonight. Joanne is my cousin, so when this comes up, I will not be voting, or I guess I can't vote anyway as the chair, but I'm going to try to
No,
take
but you can be part of the discussion.
part of the discussion, yeah,
I knew she was your cousin.
yes.
Everybody's his cousin.
It's Milford.
Might as well be in Abedanza. Cousins everywhere.
Might be related. We have cousins, I think.
So, Al, I don't know if there's anything else that we need to address, but before I did close, I did want to sort of second what Chris was saying about Al. How long were you chair, Al? 2 years, 3 years?
Oh, more than that.
Was it 4? Yeah.
This time, it was 3 before.
Okay. Not only do I think Al did a great job as chair, but just over the past several months, I've had an opportunity to work with him when the cameras are not on a few issues. And he's a man of many skills, I'll just say that. And so we're lucky to have him. Have we set that July 10 executive committee meeting? I think you referenced it earlier.
Yeah, you have to post it.
Okay. So is there anything else that you think we need to address tonight? Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, I think we would be remiss as a committee if we didn't acknowledge and thank Diane Hearn for her years of contribution and dedicated efforts. We're not an easy group to manage at times, and you do manage us well.
Yeah.
But this is her last meeting, and I think it's just a public announcement to say thank you and acknowledge your fine work and your dedication over many, many years. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I enjoyed it, and I'm going to miss you people.
Thank you,
Right.
Mr. Chairman.
Ask a clarifying question, and it might be out of sequence now. I am not going to be here on July 10th, so should I apply for the exec committee and,
You have to change your plans.
yeah, well, that's not going to work. So, but while we have everyone here.
Remote option?
While we have everyone here, if that makes sense, I'm happy to remove myself and have someone else be put on. I just won't be in the
You're
state.
going to have 3 people there.
It's always, Mr. Chairman, may I?
Absolutely, go ahead.
It's always an issue that nobody can make every single meeting. And over the years, no matter what date I pick, I'm going to eliminate somebody. So if,
I'm just giving the option, if while we're still sitting here, if that makes sense, I'm happy to.
But I remember years past sitting on the exec committee, we used to take phone calls and vote by phone. We never, ever got together as a committee and voted in person. So I don't know if that's an option.
Chairman,
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, good.
isn't the chair and vice chair members of the executive
Yeah.
committee?
yeah, that's why it's 5.
So you have 5, so 1 absent would not affect the vote?
I guess the question is there any reason we can't just punch Carly in on the phone?
Well,
If
that's-
she- If she has the time, you just can't physically be here.
Just I'm not going to be in the state, so, sure.
I mean, that's easy enough.
I just want to give the option if that was a.
No, we appreciate
We're
it.
done, yeah. Move to adjourn?
Bobby, motion to adjourn, second?
Second.
Second by Mike. Roll call. Jackie.
7:35.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Yep.
Bobby.
Yes.
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 Andy said
Adjourn.
yes.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you,
Good
Al.
job. And Diana?
Congratulations, Andy.
Congratulations.